We have started setting goals, but there are many moments in our life, despite wanting to achieve our goals, there are still a lot of mental roadblocks that keeps us from doing what we want. I learned the hard way that we need to understand truths about commitment to enable us to achieve our goals. In this video, I will share with you 4 key truths about commitment that may enable you to achieve your goals more effectively. The first truth that I learned the hard way is that commitment is a continuous journey. Despite us thinking or achieving a particular milestone, despite us celebrating key highlights in our life, that in itself doesn't help us become committed. The true meaning of commitment is something that is measured over time and not over one-off event. When you understand this truth about commitment, you will understand it is a marathon that requires us to be consistent and to have that mental perception that is an accumulation of our effort before we can actually achieve our goal. Truth number 2 is that to understand commitment, we require true self-awareness. What do I mean by that? Commitment requires us to understand what we can do, what we cannot do, what are our true strengths, and what is our weaknesses. If we set goals and commitment based on things that are not practical, for example, I want to do skydiving, when in actual fact you either do not have the courage or the physical capability to even remotely achieve those goals. Regardless of how committed you are, the sheer logic, the sheer physical limitation will prevent you from achieving your goals. So when you set your goals and when you want to commit to something, it has to be something that you are truly able to do and it is practical. Unless you understand that, you may not be able to achieve that goal. The third truth about commitment is that commitment requires you to be congruent and consistent. What do I mean by being congruent? When you're committing to something, let's say you want to become plant-based, you want to become a vegetarian, you cannot say that I will only become plant-based every Friday and you don't do it every other day. You cannot say I will only quit smoking when I'm with my family, but with my friends and my social circle, I become a casual smoker. Consistency and congruency creates the fundamental and the foundation that you need to create that strength to enable you to achieve what you want. Congruency is very important because it creates this natural micro habit that is something that you want to strive for. Imagine a commitment that you are promising yourself, but the days where you don't keep your commitments are more than the days that you keep your commitment. That in itself, regardless of how much you put in your effort in that one time, in that one day of the week that you actually do it, cannot account for the days you don't do it. That's why when you want to live a healthy lifestyle, it's something that you need to believe and do all the time and not only when it's convenient for you to do it. The last and the final truth about commitment is that commitment creates your identity. Commitment is something that must be defined through your values, your belief system, and ultimately leaves a legacy for you as well. When you say you are committed father, when you are committed husband, when you are a committed boss, or you're just a committed son or a best friend, it must be shown through your behavior, through your character, through your discipline. It must be something that you're willing to be known for. One of my commitments is to be a good father. To be able to achieve that, you must allow other people to measure and define you in the same context as how you want to be committed to be a father. If you tell yourself, I am a good father as per defined by only your daughter, but the rest of the world do not see it, that commitment is what I consider not wholesome. Because when you are truly committed into something, it will show up regardless of whether you intentionally want to show it or not. As a recap, I learned these 4 truths about commitment. The truth number 1 is that commitment is a continuous journey. We must continuously pursue and measure how committed we are over time. Commitment number 2 requires us to understand and have real self-awareness. Unless you create commitment that is practical and achievable by yourself, regardless of how much effort you put in, you will never be able to achieve it. The truth number 3 is being congruent and consistent. Congruent means when people are not looking, you are still committed to the same goal. And last but not least, commitment is about your identity. It shines through your value system, your belief system, and ultimately your legacy as well. The earlier we understand this commitment and how it impacts how we achieve and work on our goals, the earlier we do it, the earlier we understand how to change and define and create and design our commitment to make it practical so that we can achieve our goals more effectively. With that, I hope you will be able to achieve more of your goals and stay more committed. Have a luminous day ahead.